students, welcome to the part 6 of the chapter Body Fluids and Circulation. In this video, we will be discussing cardiac cycle. What is a systole, what is a diastole, and how this complete process of one cardiac cycle is taking place in the heart. So let's begin with the lecture. Body fluids and circulation. Now we are going to study cardiac cycle. What is cardiac cycle? The two atria contract at the same time and then they relax while the two ventricles simultaneously contract. So this complete cycle is known as cardiac cycle. The contraction phase of the ventricle chambers is called systole. The relaxation phase is called diastole. So the phase of contraction is systole and the phase of relaxation is diastole. At a normal heart rate, the cardiac cycle lasts for 0.8 seconds. Step 1 involved in cardiac cycle. Look, blood from the body is coming inside and blood from the heart is there. So what is happening? The heartbeat begins when the muscle relaxes and blood flows into the atria. Step 2. The atria then contracts and the valves open to allow blood into the ventricles. Step 3. The valves close to stop blood towards back. Okay, the backward flow of the blood is stopped when the valves close. The ventricles contract and they force the blood to leave the heart. At the same time, on the other hand, the atria are relaxing, okay, because these ventricles are working, so it's obvious that the atria will be relaxing. And during the time of relaxation, what they are doing? They are again filling the blood. So this cycle will again repeat itself. Now just try to understand this cycle with one another representation. So just have a look at this video. It's representing single cardiac cycle, starting with the right side of the heart. So in reality, two sides are working simultaneously, but it is easier to understand if you look at them separately because each side of the heart has a different function. So the cardiac cycle begins when deoxygenated blood flows from the body into the right atrium by superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. In next phase, the right atrium contracts, pumping blood into the right ventricle through tricuspid valve. Once the right ventricle fills with blood, the tricuspid valve closes to prevent blood flowing back into the atrium. Right ventricle contracts, forcing the pulmonary valve to open as blood is pumped into the pulmonary artery. Blood then travels to the lungs as the pulmonary valve closes. At the same time, the right atrium relaxes, ready to accept the next intake of blood. In the lungs, the blood picks up oxygen and releases CO2. Oxygenated blood flows from the lung into the left atrium by pulmonary veins. The left atrium contracts to pump blood into the left ventricle through mitral valve. Once the left ventricle has filled the blood, the mitral valve closes. Next, the left ventricle contracts, forcing the aorta valve to open, allowing blood to be pumped into the aorta, and from there around the body. The aortic valve closes to prevent blood flowing back into the left ventricle, and the left ventricle relaxes, ready to accept the next intake of blood. Cardiac cycle is now complete. Well students, this is all about the cardiac cycle. You have understood that how two atria, two ventricles, that is the left atria, left ventricle, right atria and right ventricle, as well as various valves are taking part in this complete cardiac cycle. Hope you have understood this complete cardiac cycle. Now, in our next video, I am going to explain you the ECG. that is electrocardiogram. So let's switch on to the next video.